I want to surprise you guys with someone. I'm not that surprised, but maybe you'll be surprised by this someone.
I see the shutdown completely different from maybe my party leadership. And I'm not putting the blame on the president. I'm actually putting the blame on the speaker and Leader Thune in the Senate. This should not be happening. And I don't think, look, as a member of Congress, we already have a low enough job approval rating. This shutdown is just going to drive everybody's approval rating that much lower.
Yes. But so you're putting the blame on the leadership of your party?
Absolutely. We control the House. We control the Senate. We have the White House. I've been vocal saying, you can use the nuclear option in the Senate. This doesn't have to be a shutdown. But what we have to do is we have to work for the American people.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is putting the blame on her party's leadership. This is where I wasn't surprised. Well, first of all, the surprise obviously is that she's putting the blame on Republicans. The where there's zero surprise is her saying it's not the president's fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault. This is where the line continues to be drawn with her, and this is what I keep seeing and hearing from her. Every time someone wants to praise Marjorie Taylor Greene for saying something that makes some sense, it goes right back to, but I think that Trump is getting some bad advice. I think the dictator in the White House is getting some bad advice. I think he's actually listening to someone. No, he's not. This guy is the head of the party. This guy is the reasons why everyone's acting like a bunch of mini Donald Trumps is because he tells them what to do. And if they don't do it, he threatens them, kicks them the hell out of the party, and does what he's about to do to her. So there was questions that are being asked about what's wrong with Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's supposed to be towing the line.
There's a reporting that President Trump, as you know, recently called at least 2 senior Republicans to ask, and I'm quoting now from these reports, what's going on with Marjorie, end quote. Have you talked to the president about this issue personally? It's obviously so personal for you.
Well, the president has my cell phone number, and he's called me many, many times. So if he wants
recently, how recent?
I don't get into that kind of details, but he knows how to call me, and he can ask me himself. But here's the deal. There's also this. And I'm not blaming you guys, but there is a media narrative trying to say that I don't support the president. I absolutely support the president. I campaigned for him for years. But I'm also an action person, and I want my party to solve problems.
And you say he's not getting good advice, though. You told Manu Raju. What specifically?
Well, I don't think it's good advice that a government shutdown is going to help Republicans in the midterms. I don't agree with that. I also don't think it's good advice that Republicans ignoring the health insurance crisis is going to be good for midterms. I actually think that would be very bad for midterms. And I think that just not staying focused on America First policies is detrimental as well.
Yeah, and on that note, are you concerned about the cost of living?
Very. That
the President Trump said he would lower?
The inflation crushed people in the past 4.5 years, and the costs have not come down. I myself can tell you my apartment here in Washington, D.C., the electricity bill is $100 more than it was last year, because you can look at your own bill and look at cost. Prices have not come down. That is a reality. People's wages have not gone up. That's another reality. And so Americans are continuing to have a very difficult time getting by. And I'll go a step further. I'm a mom. And so when it comes to what is affecting my adult children's lives, who are 22, 26, and 28, I'm going to be 1,000% fighting for them over any politician and any party. And I can tell you right now, that generation, they are barely making it, and they're very hopeless for their future.
Isn't it weird how Marjorie Taylor Greene suddenly is talking about the plight of the next generation of adults, young adults, because her kids are struggling, or her kids don't see a way of becoming multimillionaires based off of using the system the way that she did. Now, once it hits home, I remember when anybody would talk about young folks, people that are in college or something, how if they don't have much of many job opportunities or openings in certain fields as they get out because of how we're destroying the economy and give more money to rich folks who do nothing but hoard it and eliminate more jobs. I remember whenever anybody would talk about that, it was, why don't you tell these lazy liberal arts majors to do a real job? But now Marjorie Taylor Greene is concerned about her kids. That's where the shift is beginning. Isn't it weird? There's mindsets of these types of folks. So this is what's happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene since Donald Trump keeps asking, what's wrong with Marge? Marge is having an issue with her own family actually getting the kind of opportunities that they thought they'd get. Maybe they're too busy being art majors. Maybe they paint too much. That was the dismissive approach in the comments every time anybody else would talk about this. So now Marge is concerned about her family. So now she's finally bringing up the good fight, but still can't really blame Donald Trump. Or can she?
I certainly support the president, but I'm not, what would be the right way to say it? I'm not some sort of blind slave to the president, and I don't think anyone should be. I serve in Congress. We are a separate branch of the government, and I'm not elected by the president. I'm not elected by anyone that works in the White House. I'm elected by my district. That's who I work for, and I got elected without the president's endorsement. And, you know, I think that has served me really well. So I get to be independent as a Republican, and I think what helps him the most is when he has people that are willing to be honest with him and not just tell him what they think he wants to hear.
Marjorie Taylor Greene does not blindly support Donald Trump like a blind slave, she says. She's beginning to turn. She's getting there. It's taken her a while. I think she's still somehow holding out hope to see where her political future may be once Donald Trump finally goes, okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene is off. She's done. She's totally Antifa. She should probably watch her back now, because that's what this murderous regime of a presidency is about. It's opposition, and once you're that opposition, you're a terrorist. She's not going to be a blind slave, though. Did you notice the large mention she had in there? She said, I got this position without a Trump endorsement. Maybe that's where her beef is. Either way it is, it's always personal. It's either her kids and their lack of connections to things they can get, or it's that she won her seat and Trump didn't endorse her. The response and the vindictive nature that these folks have as far as being very selfish always shines through. But one last little clip from Marge. As I mentioned, the healthcare issue is the one that they continue to lose. This is why it's really tough for them, and probably why they're pulling their hair out over Marjorie Taylor Greene, because she's exposing the way that they're approaching this.
To allow Democrats to have some sort of moral high ground on this issue because they're the only ones talking about it, I think is a major failure from the Republican Party. And I'm not going to stand there and just keep talking the talking points when my own adult children can hardly afford health insurance premiums, when everyone in my district, it's the number one issue that I hear about day in and day out, not just people on the ACA, but people that have private insurance as well. And I think it's something that we have to talk about. And I don't see why the government needs to be shut down. I really don't. I believe that if Republicans learn to govern and wield power, they can use the nuclear option in the Senate. They can open up the government. We can get back to work for the American people, and Republicans can solve this problem that is a very big problem that we can't ignore.
That's where I think she's still missing it. She, at least to news outlets, still lets them know that she believes this Republican Party can fix it. What would they be fixing, Marjorie? They'd be fixing the problem that you all signed on to create. This drumbeat of giving more money to corporations and destroying Americans' healthcare further. It's not like it was great. Destroying it even more. And when there was a 50% of a solution to it with the ACA, they attacked it consistently. But even if that goes away, which they're working to make go away, things will get worse. So congrats to Marjorie Taylor Greene for figuring out three things. But until she fully realizes that how she ushered us into this era wholeheartedly and energetically, I'm only going to listen to her fight from her perspective. Have the fight, Marge. I appreciate you doing it, but this has nothing to do with endorsing her or sanitizing her image. we still know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is. How much is she talking about the occupations of our cities? How much is she talking about the indiscriminate destruction of people's homes as they break in and handcuffed and zip-tied Black children and separated them from their families? How much does she still not give a damn about certain Americans? She keeps bringing up her kids and the healthcare issues. If her kids didn't have those healthcare issues, I wonder how much she would care. Maybe she should apologize to them for being a part of this.